I keep getting so many notifications, guys. I'm so sorry that you're going to hear a bunch of throughout the freaking video. Um, I'm the real Randy Chavez. I'm going to go over some sales data for some Pokemon. This is a Pokemon video. Again, I'm switching it up between Pokemon and stocks, so mostly Tesla. This one is going to be Pokemon sales data. We got a lot to go through, and there's a lot more to go through tomorrow. But Hitmonlee, first edition PSA 9. All right, a bunch of these are going to be fossil, which is great. That one is first edition PSA 9, sold for $89. That I thought was interesting. Went a little lower than I thought. Retrace, maybe? I don't know. Nidoqueen, first edition PSA 9, sold for $180. A lot of these are jungle now. Electrode, first edition PSA 9, sold for $105. Clefable, first edition PSA 9 from jungle as well. Record price of $202. Publicly sold anyway. I don't know, privately it might have done. Electrode, first edition PSA 9. That first one sold for $105. The second one sold for $117. So maybe this is better quality. Maybe they thought, I missed out on that one. I got to get this one. Who knows? Kangaskhan first edition PSA 9 sold for $177. Moving on to Neogenesis, we had a Fortress first edition PSA 9 sold for $86. This next one, Dark Feraligatr from Neo Destiny first edition PSA 10, $749. That is very undervalued, and I just didn't have the money for it because I spent $3,800 on that Misty's Golduck. Speaking of which, I met this guy on Instagram, and he is he has a Feraligatr Neogenesis number 5, the one that's insanely rare. It's only 18 PSA 10 copies, extraordinarily hard to grade. And he says there's one up on sale. DACA Card House, I think, has it on sale for like $7,500, which may not be a bad price, but no one's biting on that. And he said, and we basically worked out a deal saying like, I would give him $5,000 for it. Again, I don't have that right now. I do have, he wanted kind of a trade. My T17, the one with the swirl, I have a Typhlosion 17, first edition PSA 9. That and $3,000 would probably be sufficient enough for him. While I have it here, I sold this bad boy, Arcanine Black Star, PSA 10. This is the last one I have that has a 2.8, starts with a 2 for its on the other side there for PSA. The rest I have are in 4s, so this I sold for $80. I think I bought it. The max I ever paid for one of those is $50, but the most I have, or the least I paid for it was like $15. So average cost base is like $20, $25. Moving on past this, Dark Feraligatr was sold for $749. We have a Shining Raichu, first edition PSA 8, sold for $380. I feel like the Shinings are about to go crazy. I definitely feel like the Shinings are about to go nuts. And not only that, we had a Dark Charizard, first edition PSA 10. I didn't look at it, but it was listed at 1.8K, listed for like 2 days, sold in 2 days, because you're getting like a $400 discount on when the last 2 sold. We had a Giovanni's Persian, first edition BGS 9, sold for $200. And it's probably could have been a BGS 9.5 because, the edges and the corners got a 9, but the centering and the surface both got 9.5s. So I think this is a great buy. Again, that card is stupid undervalued. Last one sold for like 2.2 or 2.4K for PSA 10. So the fact is it's only sold for 10 times less than that, stupid undervalued. We had a Pikachu, first edition PSA 8, sell for $132. The same guy that had the Feraligatr had a first edition PSA 10 Pikachu, and he had offers for $3K for it. He declined it. That Feraligatr, he got an offer for $4.5K. He declined it. But this copy, $3,000 for PSA 10. If she declined, let's say $3,500 is what he sells it for. The 9, let's say, is $350. So yeah, 8. That's about right. The 8, that's about in line with what the price would be with the 10. Hypno first edition PSA 9 from Fossil. That only got 79. A little weird. Retrace from the 9s. I don't know. We had actual T17, Typhlosion 17, first edition raw. I would have given it like a 6 to a 7. For my grade, just for scratching on the hollow and on the back. The back alone probably would have got like an 8, but then with the scratch out, again, 6 or 7. Those would both be okay grades by my opinion, by my standard. Still got sold for $747. So again, if you have a card that's like, maybe I shouldn't grade it because it'll only get like a 6, post it. Don't grade it because it'll sell for like the grade of 7, like a grade above. It's insane. T18, Typhlosion, first edition PSA 9. Sold for $725. Again, this is one that is more common. It's less rare. There's a bunch of them out there right now. Shining Kabutops, first edition PSA 9, sold for $485. This is why I said the Shinings are going to go high, because the fifth bid was $425, $430, $461, $480. Winning bid was $485. And you're seeing, this is $485. The minimum that Shining Kabutops PSA 10 should be $1,200, $1,500. And you can get one for $1,000 right now. You can go and you can get it, and that would be a fantastic buy. That would be a phenomenal buy, because that's going to be a $2,000 card. Going to be a $2,000 card shortly. Speaking of which, Shining Steelix, first edition PSA 9. We had bids at $326, $349, $350, $401, $406 is what it sold for. Again, that PSA 10 copy is easily $1,200, $1,500. We had a Totodile. I just got this one because it's a common card. Granted, it's a starter, but it's a common card. First edition PSA 10. It's a non-holo. Got $87. That's what it sold for. So we're seeing common cards, first edition PSA 10s, in Neo Genesis sell for holos. Now, again, it's a gem mint card, but you also have WotC first edition holos, PSA 9s. You can get Hypno, 79. Hitmonlee got 89. That's like the fucking second or third set. And they under $100. Now, Totodile, Neo Genesis getting 87. So that's just the data. I don't know exactly how to interpret that. Charizard Gold Star, BGS, freaking notifications. BGS 8.5 for this Charizard Gold Star. $1,225. That's what the 8 got, like $1,200 like a week ago. So 8.5, add another $200 on there. A Gengar, first edition PSA 10 from the Fossil set. Record price point, $1,925. This sold for like $1,300, $1,400 like 2 weeks ago. 50% increase. It's insane. Haunter, first edition PSA 10. Now, before I remember, like 2-3 days ago, a Haunter first edition PSA 10 and a Gengar first edition PSA 9. Together, they sold for $530, because the Gengar usually sells for $230 to $330, that PSA 9. The Haunter usually about $330. This one sold for $470. So whoever got that last week, or 2 days ago, that Haunter PSA 10 and the Gengar PSA 9, both from Fossil, both first edition, both holos, you got a steal, because this one card is worth basically what you purchased for both of those cards already. Hitmonlee first edition PSA 10 sold for $568. Now, if we look at the 9 for the Hitmonlee, yeah, that makes sense. Times it by 5, and you get 400. Yeah, so it's between that 5 and 8 formula that I created, and that's exactly right. So either the 10 needs to go up, which I don't think it does. I sold mine a few weeks ago for $550. This got $568, so I think this is the record price point now. I still think that the PSA 9s, you're probably not going to see any first edition PSA 9 holos for WotC that are going to be less than $100. Eventually, you won't be able to find that. Even Magnemite and Fortress, which you can find for like $60, $70, you're not going to be able to find for $100 this time next year. We have a Kabutops first edition PSA 10 sold for $569. So Hitmonlee $568, Kabutops $569. They're both right there. Moltres, these Fossil sets are insane. First edition PSA 10 sold for $605. A new record price point for that. I think that was for Kabutops as well. Dragonite, I don't know if we've had any for $3,000 yet, but Dragonite first edition PSA 10 sold for $2,850. I think that is because we were seeing them like $1,500, $1,600, $2,000, $1,800, $2,200, $2,400, $2,850. I think is a record price point. I don't know if we've had $3K for Dragonite yet, but if we have, there's a little bit of retrace, but I see it steadily growing. That'll probably be a $3,000 card. Jolteon first edition PSA 10 sold for $1,400. That's what I have for today. And what else did I want to talk about? Definitely wanted to talk about a couple of things. I kind of forget what. But we have, again, record price points. And okay, so Gym Challenge is partly what I remember wanting to talk about. And I think I mentioned it before. Someone has all of the Gym Challenge holos on sale for $50,000. Once I up the price, $175 for that common card, that Sabrina's Abra number 94. If anyone has it, let me know. You get a huge premium for that common card that's probably worth in a few years when there's a lot of them, be worth like $20-$30. But I'm going to pay $175 if anyone wants it. If anyone wants to let go of theirs. Yeah, I learned a lot yesterday. About the Pikachu. He has a Slowking too. That guy from Instagram, Slowking First Edition PSA 10. There's 9 PSA 10 copies. He's gotten an offer he paid $5,000 for it. I think that card's worth $7,000 to $8,000. And why I came to the $5,000 mark on the Feraligatr is because there's 18 PSA 10 copies. Typhlosion has 9. The last Typhlosion to sell was $10,000, which I think the next Typhlosion to sell is going to be $12,000, $15,000 because 8 of those people that have it won't sell. So there's only one that's going to be able to be available. Now, when that does happen, the price of that Feraligatr will go up. But why I said $5,000 is because there's 18 PSA 10 copies of that, only 9 PSA 10 copies of the Typhlosion. So what do? We inverse it. 10,000, we cut it in half because, the availability and whatever, and that you get $5,000. Now, that's just the numbers. That's not including the nostalgia, the artwork. The artwork, I think that Feraligatr is a little bit better artwork. That might just be my opinion, at number 5. But the other thing is that you have Totodile is a badass in that game. Gold and silver. Let me see if this, because that's annoying me. Totodile is a freaking badass. As a tank, it can learn... I don't know if it can learn Ice Fang in that one. No, I think it can learn Ice Punch in that one. I don't think Ice Fang was in there until the remakes. But the only advantage that Cyndaquil really has... early game, you can go to Burn Tower, where you fight all the Bellsprout. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of experience. Cyndaquil can roll through that. And then Bugsy. Bugsy has the... grass-type Pokemon. And then I guess if you want to count Steelix, for Jasmine. Yeah, all right. So he has a couple of good good type advantages for those battles. But really, the Elite Four, you have a couple of things from Koga, Ariados, but that's really it. Elite Four, you can't really use it versus Will. Maybe Jinx, because, Ice and Fire, but Will's a lot more psychic than anything else. And then you have Bruno, Rock and Fighting. And then you have Karen, Dark type. And then you have Lance. And Lance is friggin' Dragon type. So Fire's not going to help you. It does help you a little bit throughout the game. I don't think as much as Totodile. Now, granted, you can probably make the argument, I'm going to get a shiny Gyarados in that game as well, because you do. So maybe you don't need a water-type Pokemon, but Totodile is a beast. Learn Surf, learn Turn. Can't breed with a lot, but it's, try to get my Feraligatr laid, and I was like, Corsola, that's the only thing you can breed with? You can breed with others, but you know what I'm getting at. People just love that Pokemon more, because it was awesome in the anime, in Pokemon, and it was cool in the movies, and it's just, I think people just like that Pokemon better, and they have more nostalgia with it. A lot of people picked it because it has better move range, has better moves, and I feel like just more people just picked it, and that is what I think is going to be the deciding factor in increasing that price, because yes, you have something that's not as available, like the other one, but right down to it, if you have the choice of Typhlosion or Feraligatr, the Feraligatr is so badass. The Feraligatr is so... That's why I think, if I get it for $5,000, which is a fair price, but I think that would still be undervalued, because I think that's eventually when another Typhlosion sells, or people start saying like, okay, it's going to go up. It could be several years before that happens because there's so few of them. But that's just what I think. That's just what I'm saying. Anyway, guys, I got to bounce. I got a Zoom call that I got to make. I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.